Hello, hello. We should be live here. And if we are not live right now, we should be live in just a second. Welcome, everyone, to the live community release party for Everybody Kernel Panic, which is the latest chapter in the saga of the Malix Minute. If you have not watched Everybody Kernel Panic yet, stop. There will be spoilers throughout this discussion, and you don't want to spoil the episode. So stop watching this. Go back and watch the episode. There are links in the description of this video, and we also pinned a comment. So the community discussion will start here in just a second, but in case you're interested in joining and having a conversation with the cast and the crew, the Discord server where we're hosting the conversation is open, and there's a link in the description below. We would love to have you join. Hop in the Hangout chat and get on the microphone. Ask us a question. We would love to have some more folks join our community this evening live if you happen to catch it, and if not, then maybe on the replay we catch you next time. So with that, the only other comment I'll make is if you're not able to hop in Discord, leave us a question in the YouTube chat, and we'll address that, and we'll converse with you that way. Okay, I think I have Discord back in here. Can I hear you all?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I hear you. Okay. Let me... One more fancy trick here.
Appreciate you running all the technology on this, Alex.
It's a fun time. We're gonna do grid mode and close this out so we don't need to see multiple angles of me here. Okay, so first off, I'd like to hear from the cast and crew of Everybody Kernel Panic.
Should we switch listening to the live stream because they're not in sync?
If you want to, if you're in Discord, that's going to be the highest fidelity for you. So you probably just want to hang out in Discord. You probably don't want to be in both at the same time. All right, Susie, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you did on this project.
Hi, yes, I'm Susie Reed, formerly Markley, one of the Markley Bros. I play Timmy and Mara in the episode that we just watched. This episode was so much fun. I also got to do the illustrations. They're kind of amateur, some of my first illustration work, but it was really fun, and I like kind of the art style Alex went for with directions and stuff. A little bit easier to crank them out, no shading or anything, but it was really fun.
I'm excited about the new art style. I'm really excited. We might get a chance to chat about that a little bit more later as well, because I think it sets a new tone. I also thought you did a fantastic job as the only one who's doing two characters in this episode, although that will shortly no longer be the case. I'm sure everyone will be doing multiple characters.
Well, thank you. I was cringing a little bit at my Cockney accent, but I did my best.
I thought it sounded very fun. It was a lot of fun.
He was a cute little character. I like him.
It was Ohioville Cockney.
Yeah.
No one can criticize.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, Gabe, why don't you go next?
Well, hello. My name is Gabriel Markley, and I played Linus in this here episode, or full cast audiobook. And the only other way in which I contributed was I did recommend the popcorn Kernel Panic joke. So
that's right.
I
that
do
was your
enjoy.
joke. I appreciated that a lot.
That was a lot of fun to watch you bloom it into what you always do, Alex. The writing was fabulous.
Thank you.
Agreed.
And yeah, it was so much fun to, see the way in which it was building, comedically, and realizing that as you like, if you go back through and like the ways in which Alex mirrors from section to section is just really, really on.
And your performance as Linus was top notch. So funny.
Yeah, I really enjoy the way that you can just really just commit to such utter nonsense and deliver it with such conviction and integrity. It's really inspiring, honestly.
It did remind me of the old Malik's Minutes, listening to some of my deliveries, because I was like, that's not as loud as I was, I don't think. And I realized you were having to like.
I was turning you down all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was fun. But yeah, it was a great time. I had a thought. I can't remember what it was. So.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll get back to it. Drew, you're up.
Hi, I'm Drew. I read for Snufflefungus. I had a great time. I drank a bunch of tea.
Yes.
I was in between two colds at this time. Like, this was one of 3 days in between the two where my voice was acceptable, so we dodged a bullet there.
Well, I just really appreciate what you bring to the character of Snufflefungus, especially for those of us who have really loved Snufflefungus for a long time and been, just been excited about the character and enamored with the character. I feel like, much like Susie's art style, it's definitely new, but it's fantastic and really, I cannot thank you enough for really embracing and making the character happen.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed, you might mute when I'm talking, I also enjoyed like facial expressions, like Snuffy making a cute smile and you just like giving it, like mugging the camera. It added a lot. It was very cute.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I was on stage for a while, so when I read through a script, I can't help but do, a little bit of the facial stuff too.
You do a great job.
It's something I would aspire to.
Yes. And
can you hear us, Kat? It sounded like, or it looked like she was having issues.
Uh-oh. I'm sure she will be able to hop back on here. Hannah.
I just couldn't hear Drew for some reason.
Oh.
You might have him turned down maybe in your settings. Hannah, I'd love to hear just an introduction and just tell us a little bit about your role.
Yeah. Well, I'm Hannah Markley, not a Markley Bros by birth or estranged sibling relationships as Mara and Malix are discovering, but by marriage.
Yep.
And I had the pleasure of being behind the camera and keeping track of the audio and stuff. And it was both simultaneously really fun and really hard, because trying to like watch them do their thing and not ruin a good take with like my chortling in the background was its own challenge. But it was a lot of fun. Everyone did a really great job, and I'm like really, really stoked with how it came out.
Yeah, Hannah's is underselling the work that she did, because she genuinely saved the production with at least 24 times of telling us that we had covered our own faces with something.
Yeah.
So,
And also like dealing with child noise in the background while we were trying
That's
to
true.
record.
There's you don't get to see that as much, but there's always interruptions or kids drumming on the outside of the studio garage and all kinds of chaos. It's great.
All right, well, let's very quickly transition here. Markley Bros Entertainment, we're not just about our own creative endeavors. We're not just about ourselves and being self-centered as a team. We also are very, very invested in our community, and the folks here are members of that community who are in Discord and hanging out with us today. So don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if anybody would like to introduce themselves, please raise your hand and go off mute and introduce yourself.
If they won't, I'm gonna start calling people out because I love them
Well,
too much not to.
keep in mind, this is live on
we're
the
live
universe,
recorded
so.
on YouTube, but I saw David join. I wanted to say hi to David. He hadn't been on the call earlier.
Yes.
Hello. You wanna say
Yep.
hi?
Hi, I'm David. Sorry, you catch me when I'm away from home and not my normal setup. So
Oh, I can't hear you.
you can't hear
That's
me.
all right. I can hear him.
I can hear you. It doesn't matter about him. Keep
This
going.
again?
Yeah, sorry, Drew. That's your
It's
setup.
the other way around this time.
But that was great. Just when I was thinking, I could use some sound effects. Sound effects happened. So
Nice.
do
You have any
What,
fan theories, David, that we should take note of?
Well, we're gonna get into those kinds of
What are the
questions here
predictions?
in a sec. Yeah, we're gonna get into those kinds of questions here in a sec. I just wanted to make sure, the community is so important to us, and honestly, not only do we do what we do, because of the encouragement from all these folks, but several of them are also supporters, financial supporters on Patreon. So. I won't call people out individually. We can keep things rolling, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for
Huge thank you.
Yeah. All right. So as far as questions, this is a reverse Q&A because you all might have questions for us, and I would love to hear them. But first, I'm going to ask you all here on Discord, what was your favorite moment from the episode?
See, Alpha and Tyler are both unmuted.
Oh.
Oh.
I am quite familiar with the Sherlock stories and stuff. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? I guess has a crowd of urchins he hires to give him. Okay, sure, why not? Of course.
I just really hope
loved
they're able
that.
to use that currency in Ohioville.
Oh, yeah.
A farthing.
Hey, look, there are Bitcoin ATMs nowadays, so I'm sure they can change.
Yeah.
Snuffy knows that Timmy has the coin collection, maybe?
Yeah.
Mean a farthing.
Pre-decimal British currency is definitely it's definitely spendable. It's just not as convenient, maybe. So.
Bring it to the museum. They'll help you out.
That's amazing.
All right, yeah, that's a good one. The revelation of the irregulars. What any others?
The British Museum doesn't take back artifacts.
Yeah.
I guess my favorite moment was Mara's point where they were in the garden and Linus was on repeat. Just
That
playing
was
a...
perfectly creepy. I loved that.
It's just
The edits made that so good, like the spinning
That was.
imagery.
That's
Oh,
good, Alex.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love Mara's point of view. I love each character's point of view. For different reasons, but Mara's is hilarious to me for so many reasons.
Yeah, there's
I
a lot
enjoyed
of
it.
subtlety there too.
I know you're not asking us, but my favorite point of view is Linus's because of his just the way it tied a bow on the whole episode. Like after you have all these points of view, then it comes together in a neat package that is Linus's complete utter arrogance. Like of course my plan. Like I know everything, and it just cracked me up.
poor Linus.
Poor Linus.
Susie.
Oh my goodness.
Yay,
I feel
Alpha's
like
favorite.
Linus had some of the best lines too. Like everything with the banners. Like you guys don't even know how hard that was for the crew to get through. Like it took so many times of us just reading it, laughing, knowing we're just gonna read it a couple times, laughing to try to.
Gabe was just laughing so hard while reading that line, and I'm sure it's in extra bloopers, but
yeah.
it's hilarious.
It was fun.
Good.
There were so many good laughter moments in the episode. It's really hard to pick just one.
Alpha, you said you agree Linus's point of view was your favorite. Was there a moment that was your favorite?
The thought of Happy Valentine's Day? It's not Valentine's Day. I know. What's your point? It just gave off those vibes, and I loved it.
It was great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I do love, I love the way that, the different points of view sort of start to paint a picture, and then Linus's point of view comes and just steamrolls it. Like, there's definitely an unreliable narrator element that in particular, sets the characters in conflict with one another. That is, it's just, it's so much fun. And I want to, I'll take just a second here, This is an experimental format. In so many ways, it's very different than anything that we've done before. Because in the past, with the Malik's Minute, we've very rarely done anything with narration, and we've certainly never tried to narrate the entire sequence of actions, like that, the things that take place. And one of the things. Gabe really helped me out actually here. He was a sounding board for me while I was thinking through the different ways to try to tackle this problem. And, I really wanted to be able to do more action and show more things happening in the show than what we had been able to do in the classic Malik's Minute. That was, we were really painted into a corner in many ways with that format. And so the visual format of the new show, actually putting it on the screen and doing animation and live action gave us the ability to show action and show sequences of events, but it didn't really give us, we were always limited by, dollars. Like, how could we portray certain things? So just even with this episode, the sprawling nature of it, to just have them start walking down the street and go and do, a classic Linus and Snuffy adventure, but also for us to be able to really hear what's going on inside the characters. I'm very excited about the possibilities of this new format. So my next question for you all is, which character's point of view was your favorite and why? We kind of started this conversation already, but I'd love to hear.
I really liked Snuffy's. It was hard to say favorite, but the coloring, the reds, was pleasant.
You mean just the background color that we set for the tone? Yeah.
I enjoyed
I did
that
enjoy that.
each point of view had its own color. Kind of helped section off and cordon off the different point of view and give it a different flavor.
I'm going to rewatch it because I did not notice that at all. I was mostly listening.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
we're trying to create this subconscious cue that everything that's happening in this sort of space is maybe, pun intended, colored by the perspective of the character whose section it is. So, there's, like I said, I expect that format to give us a lot of leeway to experiment with, unreliable narrator.
And we,
things.
I love the, looking at which color is which character and the reasons why we picked which color for which character, because we definitely had discussions and thought that went into that.
All right.
Snufflefungus's fur is yellowish, so
There is that. Yes, there is that. So I'm curious to maybe hear, if folks have any questions about the new format or about the episode or about what this all means for the lore moving forward, because we had some pretty big revelations in this episode that are going to change the direction of the show.
Does Malix have some conscious telepathic powers he has not yet unlocked?
Let's hope not.
I feel comfortable
No.
saying no. Malix has no telepathic powers.
It's not
Aw.
genetic.
No Malik's training arc.
Linus' blood relative sister? What happened?
It's a good
That was just
question.
anything, isn't it?
Oh, no, wait a second, though.
We didn't
What
talk
Alpha,
about that?
What Alpha just said, maybe we should reconsider, Alex. We can have, like, Linus and Stuffy be the good or bad and good senseis, and, like, you know, he's training
Yeah,
under
he
a
doesn't even
waterfall.
need the powers. We just need like an 80s montage of like Malik in the woods. Like, just,
Like they could.
Oh, no.
What if they like try? Because the immediate thought could be like, genetically, what if he has powers like Mara? We need to unlock them. Sorry,
Just
this
do what he
wasn't
did to
supposed to be a
Alex Markley. and shoot
brainstorming
him
session.
with the gamma radiation.
By Jove, I have scary powers now.
Oh,
Oh my. Yeah, can't
Susie's
unring
British
that bell.
accent is better than Alex's.
Cannot unring that bell. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So we didn't talk in the original series about how Mara got her powers.
No. Not
Okay,
at all.
then I'll keep my mouth shut because I feel like I
Spoilers.
Don't give spoilers.
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah, no spoilers, please.
can never tell. I need to listen to the whole series again so I know.
That's
Well,
what
and
you
that's honestly, that's a good point though, because as a team, this is one of the, I mean, I think for folks who maybe are wondering, like, why this pivot, why this new format, why are we experimenting, especially since up to this point, the last episode, The Depths of Despair, was genuinely my favorite Malik's Minute episode of all time. And I still feel like that really hits, like, that's kind of the pinnacle so far of screen adaptation or screen representation of the characters in the universe. But, you know, to Drew's point, there's so much story that as a team we've been talking about and that we've been ruminating on and that we've been thinking about for literally years. I mean, the better part of like half a decade at this point, that, you know, I've been feeling very stuck in not being able to tell the story fast enough and get more new chapters and get all of the characters and get everything, because the bottleneck has been us not being able to get things on the screen fast enough for you all. And since now we have so many new YouTube subscribers, it is time. It is now time for us to tell this story, and any delays need to be relentlessly optimized out. So, you know, this,
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what our faithful viewers
Yeah.
and Malik's Minute fans think about the format.
yes, especially from that, with that context and from that perspective.
I thought it was a pretty natural shift, actually, even though it kind of missed some of the live action segments, and hoping that eventually we get to see more live action segments. At the same time, it was a pretty natural shift between like the old series and something a little bit new. And the artwork was beautiful. The use of sound effects was well blended, and the acting was still the same as always. So it was still great.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And Susie did, like I said, a fantastic job with the art. So that I think
I'm just
that helps.
really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the most important thing is that for folks who really do love the classic Malik's Minute and have been following along, that it doesn't feel like we're, you know, throwing you off the back of the truck or anything like that. That we're all still you know, trucking. Thank you. Thank you, Gabriel, for that face.
So, I had a question.
Yeah, please.
I don't know, you probably can't see me. I don't know what's going on with, but anyway. So the format here was sitting around the table and talking, reading the scripts, very much like you used to do, only we couldn't see it. We could just hear it. So if this is an ignorant question, I'm really sorry. is this the way it's going to be? Is that what you mean by the new format? So there's not a filmed Malik's Minute like the previous one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good opportunity to clarify. So I think what sets this apart from anything that we've done in the past is the narration and being able to really articulate the action and what's happening and what characters are thinking. So it gives us a lot more space. The canvas to tell the story and to paint the picture is much larger. And in fact, it's even a larger canvas than what we had before with the animation and with the video, just because we can flit from one end of town to the other and talk about 30 different characters all showing up in the span of 5 minutes. And it doesn't give me heartburn thinking about trying to do the CGI for all of that. So
yeah, but to answer the question, like, yes, this is what the format is going to look like for now. And, we can at some point think about, once we have enough funds and time, if it becomes a full-time job for us, we'd love to put it back on the screen the way it was. But in the meantime, we really want to keep getting story out there.
So right. I'm gonna pause there for 1 second, because I wanted to address the specific question around screen adaptation, because I think that after years of experimenting, I'm pretty confident saying that the way we were doing it before is never going to scale to the point that it needs to be in order to be a faithful adaptation of the story. So this is where you all, as a community, come into play, because helping us share the episodes and boost, hitting the like button, doing comments, putting it out on different social media. The bottom line is that we're going to need help. We're going to need partners, and I mean industry partners, in order to do a faithful screen adaptation of this story. And for now, I'm going to just like a rocket, just keep chugging along, telling the story in the most economical way I know how. I'm not giving up on the idea of a screen adaptation, but we need to be able to do a Kickstarter, or we need to be able to do a Prime Video deal or a Netflix deal or something like that. And the reality is, with folks like Vox Machina, for example, or Critical Role, those things are happening. It's not outside the realm of plausible for a YouTube story that is being told in a format that's optimized for YouTube, gets picked up and has industry partners who can make the story, adapt it to the screen in a faithful way. And that's what I'm asking you all to cast your vision for us to be able to do that together.
I wanted to hear from David, though, too.
I'm curious.
He's been with us forever, and I want to know, what did you think?
Not to put you on the spot, but
of the Switch.
I've been trying to think about what I was going to say. I like the old podcast format. I really do, and it had a pace to it. And while I see what you're saying with the narration and that being able to tell more story, it doesn't have the same pace of franticness of ridiculousness. Which, I don't know. There are pros and cons there.
Sure.
I don't know.
No, that's
but
really...
and
I would agree with that a little bit, yeah.
Also, this was while we went around to different, in the story, we went different places, we did have, in each section, more of a methodical, we were, getting stuff done, but it was less of the, and now we're gonna just take a minute to rapid fire jokes and stuff. So there is a difference there, and I think, as we get into more and more of these, you'll probably see some of that ebb and flow. I mean, Alex definitely has a story he's telling, so he's gonna be doing that, but the jokes are still gonna fly thick and fast.
Yeah, no,
I need to listen to it and watch it again.
Yeah.
There was a sound design that the old podcast got to.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. I feel like at the end of the old podcast, there was always ambient sound, and that's what it felt like anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that was always here in this. To be fair,
Yeah. Maybe 12-year-old Susie was working harder than Alex does now.
Maybe I'm filling in things in my brain too with this memory. I don't know.
Sure. Well, I think, so first, I really appreciate the feedback, and I think that we can absolutely, once we've staked out what we're doing and what the format looks like, then we will have room to, take moments to really crank up the pacing, like Gabe is saying. And I think that we'll be able to continue to mature. There were certainly things about the sound for this one that I really liked that were big improvements over the past, but there were also things about the sound for this one that I was not happy with and that I want to improve. So just putting a stake in the ground and saying, okay, we're gonna try this. We're gonna keep iterating on it. That's, I think what we're asking people to give us a chance on that, and
getting started and having somewhere to improve from instead of just endlessly trying to refine what your potential thing you can make.
Yes, and I think too, it's important to distinguish the shows. So the new show, absolutely. Yeah, the new show is it's going to be distinct in the sense that, we were really not able to. We were really not able to. I think, and we made a joke of it every time, but like a lot of times, what would happen is, if something was happening visually, we would have one of the characters describe it,
Yeah.
And
I submitted you somehow.
Yes, and I'm taking the opportunity to really explore like my inner Douglas Adams and maybe my inner Lemony Snicket a little bit of being able to just write prose, and so I think we're going to start using the branding of full cast audiobooks, in part because I'm optimistically saying, this is going to get bound and it's going to get shipped as a product at some point that you could open up and have, beautiful art and have everything typeset out and actually just read it,
Cat looks very happy about this.
So it's a distinct product, but hopefully that spark, that heart is still there, and hopefully, I'll be interested to continue to get feedback to make sure that we're moving in the right direction.
I think the spark of the show is there. I think that definitely is there. I don't want to. I feel like I'm saying a lot of negative things.
No, I don't.
No, appreciate the feedback genuinely, and like if. We all know, and as creators, and even Alex on Lance's podcast, like talking about creative, putting things out there, like there could have been a lot more time spent on making audio and video editing like perfect, but it's like it's out there so that we can get feedback and keep making it better. And if we had never started the Malix Minute until it got to where it got, it never would have happened. So if you go back to the first episode of the podcast, the quality is way lower than, so it's like, yes, great. Like that's a good bit of feedback. We can keep trying to improve. And hopefully too, the illustrations will continue to improve. Like this is the first time I've made, 5 illustrations in like 2 weeks time where, I didn't, and it's like this back and forth feedback with Alex, trying to understand the language of, gee, what perspective do you want on this? So it's like, there's a lot of room for growth, but I'm just excited. That just means it's going to keep hopefully getting better. All
right. Well, at this point, we've gone a little bit longer than I expected us to go, which is great. This has been a fantastic conversation. Are there any questions or anything? I want to make sure that our community members here on Discord have a chance to ask whatever questions they have about the new episode, the point, the perspectives, the narration, the new format, and any questions on YouTube as well. I see a couple of comments, which I appreciate, by the way, Craig and Lance.
So
thank you.
I just wanted to reiterate Mara's question from earlier. Is it a bad thing that Linus is broken?
Is Linus broken? I don't think he's actually broken. I think he
True.
He just
I've been broken.
He just decided to turn his own brain off so that you wouldn't spoil the plan.
But that was a great line, though.
Thank you.
It's a superpower.
It's a superpower.
I still maintain, I have to say this, that Susie, that first, I love the illustrations. Caveat, I love them.
That means he can insult it however he wants.
The first illustration of Linus, for some reason, is just making me think of Henry Fonda. Like,
it is a weird picture of Linus, but Alex loved it, and I was like, okay, all right. Also, he knew that there were time constraints, so there was a lot of like, good work, Susie, and encouraging me, so I didn't, just stop.
I was.
You have the Linus from the episode in Snuffy's Dream.
I had like his big mouth, like just a black big open, and Alex is like, add some teeth and a tongue, and I'm like, okay. So definitely a dual effort. Alex had some amazing feedback, and it always added to the humor or the quality of the illustrations.
Well, and I'm just glad that, again, I feel like with the new format, trying to bridge between, pure audio and pure video and trying to find some kind of hybrid, being able to have certain beats just illustrated or certain, things pop up on the screen really, really helps to amp up the visual, the interestingness of the video visually, to keep people's attention without detracting from folks who maybe need to be able to listen without watching, which especially with YouTube's new podcast feature, that's probably something that we're going to be aiming toward.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I had a comment, and I know we're over, but I got to say this, and I know it's going to sound like I'm defending you or something. That's not the point. But I had not had an opportunity to say this. My favorite part was when Linus screaming about what happened. Am I dead? Have I been dead? That cracked me up. But the main comment I wanted to make was that I love the narration. I love the prose. And there's nothing. I don't think there's any part of any of your endeavors that I like as much as I like Alex's writing. I just think it's the most exciting and fun. It's just brilliant, and I love it. And to hear Gabe and Susie and Drew delivering those lines too is just amazing. And I really enjoyed this tonight. So, okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad you liked it.
I loved it.
Hey, Susie.
I love Alex's writing too.
Hey, Susie.
It's so good.
Hey,
yes.
Susie, your mom loved it.
Your mom loved it. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. With that, we should probably wrap up the YouTube live stream. Everyone, again, thank you so much for watching the episode. Thank you for watching the cast and crew conversation. Okay, that's enough. I'm gonna